How is it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review. Today we're going to be reviewing this 2022 Volvo XC40 Recharge Pure Electric Ultimate. Now, before actually starting today's video, I did just want to give a quick shout out to Smythe Volvo of Summit, New Jersey for letting me review this new XC40 Recharge today. If you're interested in any of their new or used inventory, I'll leave a link to their dealership down in the description below, so definitely go check them out. Now, the first thing about this new XC40 Recharge that I really want to mention is how different it looks, obviously from the outside compared to the regular XC40s. You can see this front grille is kind of just closed off. Obviously, you're not going to need any opening there for any airflow because you know, this thing doesn't have a radiator or anything like that. It's a fully electric crossover SUV. And this car is actually finished off in my personal favorite factory Volvo color, which is the denim blue metallic. And like I did previously mention, this is the Ultimate trim. So with the new XC40 Recharges, you basically have two trims available from the factory. You have the Ultimate trim and the Plus trim. I'll show you the window sticker of this actual car right now. But yeah, that does include all of the other details and all the sales information from that. But you can see that this is, of course, the Recharge Twin Ultimate. Now, one very obvious criticism that not just this SUV faces, but pretty much every single EV in the market right now is just the overall curb weight. For example, this kind of smaller sized crossover SUV is going to weigh in with a curb weight of 4,741 pounds, which is again definitely really up there, especially when compared to other crossovers, I guess, in its class. And also keep in mind, this is, you know, a lot smaller than the XC60s and the XC90s that are available. But even though it is smaller, actually going ahead and unlocking this SUV, I just want to show you some of the cargo space. It still has a bunch of cargo space available. Obviously, though, you only do have the 2 rows of seating in the back here. Also, I do want to just point out, I really like the little Recharge trim along the sides here, but going into the actual SUV and opening up this, I guess, front hood latch, obviously we're not going to see an engine in front of this thing because, well, it's fully electric, but you are going to see a actual cargo compartment up here in the front, which it definitely isn't big at all, and I don't know if it really compensates that well, especially compared to like the much larger XC60s and XC90s, but you still do have a little bit more space up in the front here. Now, moving on to the actual wheels of this XC40 Recharge, they do sit on the factory 20-inch Volvo alloy wheels, and these do come wrapped from factory in Pirelli Scorpion Zero all-season tires, with the fronts being 235s by 45s R20s, and then the actual rears being 255s by 40s R20s. So a staggered offset from factory with, again, a little bit wider tire in the rear. And Volvo, just as a brand and in its history, it has a huge, you know, reputation for safety, and this new XC40 definitely makes no exceptions. It has a 5-star safety rating, and that rating is actually pretty much identical to the regular XC40s, the, you know, non-electric ones, and the features are also identical as well. And those features do include autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and of course front side curtain and driver's knee airbags, which definitely do make this Volvo, among pretty much all of their, you know, current lineup, extremely safe cars. Now, this XC40 Recharge is also all-wheel drive from the factory, with independent suspension all the way around, and the weight distribution actually isn't too bad on this. It's pretty well balanced because it does have both front and rear electric motors, and obviously those front and rear electric motors are powering the front and rear axles separately. And because, of course, this is a 100% EV, it's not like a plug-in hybrid or anything. This thing only has 1 gear, pretty much. It's just a 1-drive vehicle, and these electric motors do produce a peak horsepower of 402 horsepower and 486 foot-pounds of torque, which you get pretty much instantaneously as soon as you mash the pedal. And another very desirable feature of this new XC40 Recharge is that it does have a total range of 208 miles on a full charge, which is, you know, definitely up there when compared to other new EVs. Now, moving on to the interior, you guys probably saw this before, but I do like how on all the new Volvo cars, the side mirrors kind of open up when you actually unlock the vehicle. But actually getting into this thing, this is one thing that really separates this new fully electric XC40 Recharge compared to the different plug-in hybrids in Volvo's lineup. And that is, you're basically right where the current like ignition button is in most of the new Volvos. There's no button, there's no start stop button. All you have to do is drive it, is get in it with the key and pretty much just pull back on the gear changer, and now all of a sudden you're pretty much just in drive. It's going to be beeping just because I don't have my seatbelt on, but putting it back in park, all you have to do to, I guess, shut down the vehicle is get out with the key, lock it, and if it's in park, it pretty much just shuts off automatically, which is very, very trippy when you first get in it. And then looking at this actual display here, basically where the current fuel gauge is for most of the Volvos, instead of that, you do have a percentage gauge, which is basically just reads your the battery life in the actual car. And then you do have a little power reader right here, which is pretty cool. And then moving on to the center display, I really love the design of just the kind of front here of the new Volvos. It's very, very seamless, and it's all just touchscreen, and all you have is this one little home button right here. But looking into it, Volvo did switch over from, previously it had Apple CarPlay. Now these new ones have the, I guess, Google system. So you have Google Maps, which is actually can be activated by your voice, which is pretty neat. And then as far as entertainment is concerned, you have iHeartRadio, the regular AM, FM radio. You can connect a Bluetooth device, and you can also log into your Spotify, which is pretty cool. You also can connect to your phone through Bluetooth as well. If you want to call someone, you can do that hands-free and not be distracted while you drive. And you do have a car status reader right here, which can pull different things up, such as your tire pressure in all 4 tires, or your different service intervals. If you have to come in for service for an oil change or whatever, you can check that all right there. And then going into this little settings thing, you have all the different driver assists right here: off-road mode, steering assist, lane keeping assist. And I love the fact that you can turn these on and off, and it's not just, fully on or fully off like all the time. Someone like me, I like to drive with a lot of those assists off, but I know a lot of people do like them. And then of course you have a bunch of different settings for anything from, sound, connectivity, controls, all your different apps and stuff like that. And then just all you have to do to go back to the home screen is press this little button right here, and that's pretty much it. It may seem complicated, but Volvo has basically simplified a bunch of different options and features within this kind of touchscreen display. And it does look very good in the center of the interior right here. And also shifting gears and talking about these seats, I really do like the kind of suede material in the center of these seats here. And I do like how the front seats have little like leather sides that kind of hold you in. Very kind of racing seat-esque, obviously not as aggressive and very comfortable still. But I do like that they do have those bolsters on the side. Plus you can see the little Swedish flag right here, which is pretty cool. And the second row of seating too, honestly, is pretty spacious and would be very well suited for a small to medium family. All right guys, so now actually driving this new 2022 XC40 Recharge, one thing that I can tell you right off the bat is this is actually the very first fully electric vehicle that I have drove in my life. I mean, I'm thinking back to the different cars that I've done on the channel, and I recently did do that Karma Revero GT, but that's a plug-in hybrid. I did the Toyota RAV4 hybrid last year, but that's another plug-in hybrid. And I believe there might be, a couple more plug-in hybrids that I've done on my channel. But obviously every single one of them have had, an internal combustion engine. This is literally the first fully electric vehicle that I've done. So I apologize if I'm not going to be focusing on individual features that this new Volvo offers that much, because I'm kind of getting the, first time EV driving experience right now. And it's definitely very trippy. I know people have said it so many times. I've heard people say it so many times, and it's 100% true. When you first get in an electric vehicle and you just basically hit the gas like this, you get thrown in the back of your seat because there is no lag whatsoever. And what I mean by that, if someone doesn't understand that, you know, concept, I'm gonna basically try to explain something that is very elementary. In any internal combustion engine vehicle, you have, you know, basically you're making a certain amount of power when you're at, you know, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 RPMs. And if you have a peak, you know, power output at 6,000 or 7,000 RPMs, you're not making all of that power until you reach that basically amount of RPMs. So if you've ever seen a dyno sheet, or if you've ever seen a car on a dyno, you know that when the car's, you know, first starting out and it's climbing up those R's, it's not making all, you know, all of its power. Whereas with an electric vehicle, if you put an electric vehicle on a dyno, like a fully electric vehicle, there's no line. It's basically just like, it's like a flat line pretty much, and it just has the peak power all the time, which definitely offers a very, very unique driving experience for sure. Now, I do know that, you know, because this thing almost weighs, you know, 5,000 pounds and it's only making, you know, 400 horsepower and 450 foot-pounds torque, which I feel like that's funny saying, you know, only making that much power. I know that it's not, you know, the fastest electric vehicle out there by any means, and especially now with like the new, you know, Tesla Plaid that just came out, which I don't even know what type of power that thing's making, but I do know it can go 0 to 60 in sub, you know, 2 seconds. But, you know, that being said, I know this thing isn't, you know, super revolutionary or super quick compared to other fully electric vehicles. But again, having all of that 450 foot-pounds of torque as soon as you press on your gas, or I guess press on the accelerator pedal, like, yeah, I mean, it just climbs up the speed just so quickly. Like, it just accelerates so quickly. I'm almost like at a loss for words, honestly, because in something that feels as comfortable and, you know, as luxurious and as driver friendly as this Volvo does, it almost feels like it, you know, it shouldn't be as quick as this thing is at all. Now, obviously, the other thing that people, you know, say so much when, you know, talking about EVs is how it feels weird not hearing the car, and I couldn't agree more. I mean, when you press on the accelerator pedal, I can't even call it a gas pedal, when you accelerate in this thing and there's just no exhaust node and there's really nothing, I mean, you get some sound from, you know, the tires on the road and the actual batteries themselves. They actually, like, you know, have a high-pitched, like, whizzing sound a little bit. But besides that, there's just, it's so comfortable in here. It drives very smooth with the different driving modes and obviously off-road modes that is going to affect the, you know, suspension and how this thing does handle. But how it's set up right now, it's going over potholes, it's going over, you know, bumps in the road, and it feels like a typical, you know, modern day luxury SUV. But then when you go ahead and you step on it, it feels like you're in like a high torque output muscle car. Like, it doesn't even feel similar to a high revving import or a European car. It actually feels like a domestic American muscle car with a lot of low end torque, because you're getting all of that power instantaneously. It's just amazing. Now, anyways, guys, that's pretty much just gonna be it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think of this new 2022 XC40 Recharge. And also let me know if I missed anything down in the comments below. And another quick shout out to, of course, Smythe Volvo in Summit, New Jersey for letting me drive this thing today. But like always, guys, thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.